All right, let's dive into something a little different today. Ever find yourself watching those post-apocalyptic movies? You know, the ones where the world's gone totally haywire and wonder, how would I react? I'm talking like full-blown societal collapse here, not just, running out of coffee in the morning.
It's a question that really taps into like a primal part of us, This fascination with these scenarios, these what-if moments, they force us to confront like our deepest fears and desires.
Yeah, and today we're going to explore those reactions through the lens of three fascinating apocalypse mindsets and what they reveal about human nature, even in everyday life.
Exactly. We're not talking about predicting the future or anything like that, but rather using these extreme scenarios as a way to understand the spectrum of human responses to a crisis.
Let's jump right in. Our first archetype is the warrior. This is the person who, when faced with danger, doesn't hesitate, doesn't back down. They charge headfirst into the fray, ready to fight.
The warrior is driven by resilience, courage, an almost instinctive need to confront challenges head-on. Obstacles, they don't see them as roadblocks, but as opportunities to test their strength.
It's interesting because it's not necessarily about physical strength,
Yes.
right? It's more about that inner drive, that refusal to give up.
Absolutely. Think of someone like Rosa Parks, refusing to give up her seat on the bus, that act of defiance, standing up for what she believed in. That's the warrior spirit in action, facing down fear and injustice with courage and conviction.
Yeah, and we see that same spirit in everyday life, don't we? The people who tackle problems head on, the ones who see setbacks as opportunities for growth. They may not be wielding swords, but they're definitely fighting their own battles.
The beauty of the warrior archetype is that it reminds us that we all possess that inner strength, that capacity for resilience. We can choose to face our challenges with courage, even when the odds seem stacked against us.
Okay, so we've got the warrior, ready to fight. Now let's talk about our next archetype, the survivor. This isn't about brute force, but about a different kind of strength.
The survivor, defined by their strategic thinking, their ability to plan, to adapt, to prioritize safety above all else. They're the ones who think 10 steps ahead, always prepared for the unexpected.
They're not necessarily looking for a fight, but they're certainly not going down without a plan.
Exactly. Think of someone like Anne Frank, hiding for years in that tiny annex. Her story is a testament to the power of resilience, resourcefulness, finding ways to survive, even the most dire of circumstances.
It's a powerful reminder that survival isn't always about physical strength. It's about mental agility, about knowing when to fight and when to retreat, about conserving your energy for the long haul.
Precisely. The survivor teaches us the value of patience, of calculated thinking, of knowing when to choose our battles and when to simply bide our time.
And this translates to everyday life as well, right? It's about thinking ahead, anticipating challenges, and having a plan in place.
Absolutely. Whether it's having a backup plan at work, an emergency kit at home, or simply knowing how to manage your resources wisely. These are all aspects of the survivor mindset that can serve us well in any situation.
So we've talked about the warrior ready to face any challenge head on, and the survivor strategizing and planning their way through. But there's another archetype we need to address, one that might be a little more uncomfortable to confront.
Right. Our third archetype is the deserter. This is the individual who, when faced with overwhelming odds, succumbs to despair. They give up, surrender to the seemingly inevitable.
It's easy to judge this response, see it as weakness. But as I was exploring this source material, I was struck by this idea that surrender can actually be a form of self-preservation.
It's a fascinating concept, isn't it? There are times when giving up, when withdrawing from a situation, can be a way to protect ourselves from further pain, from further harm.
Like in the animal kingdom, playing dead can sometimes be the best way to survive a predator attack.
Precisely. And in a psychological sense, surrender can be a way to conserve energy, to avoid expending resources on a battle that seems unwinnable.
But the source material also cautioned against the dangers of this mindset, right?
Absolutely. While there are times when surrender can be a necessary strategy, it's crucial to recognize that giving up habitually can prevent growth, can limit our potential. If we constantly choose surrender, we never learn to overcome challenges. We never develop resilience.
So it's about recognizing those moments when we're tempted to give up, to understand the motivations behind that impulse, and then make a conscious choice about how to proceed.
Exactly. The deserter archetype isn't about judging those who surrender, but about understanding the complex interplay of fear, despair, and self-preservation. That can lead to this response.
And perhaps most importantly, it's about recognizing that even in those moments of despair, we still have a choice. We can choose to surrender to the darkness, or we can choose to find a way to keep fighting, even if it's just a flicker of hope.
The key takeaway here is self-awareness. By recognizing those moments when we feel like giving up. By understanding the deserter within us, we can develop strategies to overcome those impulses and choose a path of growth and resilience instead.
So we've explored these three archetypes: the warrior, the survivor, and the deserter. But I imagine most of us don't fit neatly into just one category. We're probably a mix of all three, depending on the situation.
That's a crucial point. We're complex beings, and our responses to challenges are rarely black and white. We might be a warrior in one situation, a survivor in another, and even a deserter in certain moments.
So instead of trying to label ourselves, it's more about recognizing these different aspects within us and learning how to leverage them effectively.
Precisely. Think of it like a toolbox. We have these different tools at our disposal: the warrior's courage, the survivor's strategic thinking, even the deserter's ability to recognize when retreat is necessary. And the key is knowing which tool to use for the job at hand.
I love that analogy. So it's not about being a perfect warrior or a flawless survivor, but about being aware of the different resources we have within us and using them strategically to navigate the challenges of life.
And remember, these archetypes aren't just about surviving some fictional apocalypse. They're about navigating the everyday challenges we all face. The difficult conversations, the setbacks at work, the moments when we feel overwhelmed and tempted to give up.
It's about recognizing that even in those seemingly ordinary moments, we have choice. We can choose to react with fear and despair, or we can choose to draw on the strength and resilience of these archetypes to find a way forward.
The power of these archetypes lies in their ability to help us reframe our perspective. Instead of seeing challenges as insurmountable obstacles, we can see them as opportunities for growth, for learning, for developing our inner strength. It's not about being any one archetype perfectly, but about recognizing the nuances within ourselves and using that self-awareness to navigate the complexities of life, one challenge at a time.
Well, I don't know about you, but I'm feeling a lot more equipped to handle whatever comes my way, whether it's a zombie horde or just a really bad day at the office. It's almost like these apocalypse scenarios, as outlandish as they seem, give us a new lens to view our own personal growth.
Yeah, they offer a safe space to explore those extreme what-if moments. And in doing so, we gain a deeper understanding of our own internal landscape.
Instead of fearing those end-of-the-world scenarios, we can use them as opportunities to practice resilience, to hone our strategic thinking, and to cultivate greater self-awareness.
And that brings us back to the core idea, that these apocalyptic stories, while entertaining, offer valuable insights into the human condition. They force us to confront our deepest fears, examine our priorities, and explore the range of choices we have, even when faced with immense pressure.
So it's not really about prepping for an actual zombie apocalypse, but more about prepping for life itself, right? Because let's face it, life can throw some pretty crazy curveballs our way, even without the undead crashing the party.
Precisely. Whether it's a global pandemic, a personal crisis, or simply navigating the everyday stresses of modern life, understanding these archetypes, the warrior, the survivor, and yes, even the deserter, can empower us to approach challenges with greater awareness, adaptability, and resilience.
Yeah, it's empowering to realize that we have these different modes within us. We can tap into our inner warrior when courage is needed, embrace the strategic thinking of the survivor when we need to plan, and even learn from our deserter moments to cultivate greater resilience.
And remember, we're constantly evolving, learning, and adapting. Some days the warrior will be dominant. Other days we might need the cautious wisdom of the survivor. The key is to be aware of these shifts within ourselves and respond accordingly.
I think that's a fantastic point to end on. Instead of fearing the apocalypse, let's use these stories, these explorations of human nature under pressure, as inspiration to become the best, most adaptable versions of ourselves. We've got this.
Absolutely. We all possess the potential for incredible strength, resilience, and growth. Embrace the journey, and you might just surprise yourself with what you're capable of.
And there you have it, another deep dive complete. We hope this exploration of apocalypse archetypes has given you some food for thought, maybe even a new perspective on your own internal landscape. Remember, it's not about predicting the end of the world, but about understanding how we respond when our own personal worlds feel like they're falling apart.
Until next time. Keep exploring, keep learning, and keep choosing to be the hero of your own story.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode of the Deep Thoughts Podcast. I hope you found insights and inspiration to take with you on your journey of self-growth. If you enjoyed the show, be sure to hit the subscribe button so you never miss an episode. And don't forget to follow us on social media to stay updated on new releases and exclusive content. See you next time where we'll continue to help you grow and explore your full potential.